May the triple gem bless you all. The Dhamma sermon conducted based on the explanation of the factors of enlightenment from the series of Dhamma books authored by Most Venerable Rerukane Chandavimala Mahanayaka Thero is titled by Mekala Niwena Bana. Today, we respectfully invite our Venerable Sandalankawe Kalyanadassana Thero to deliver Dhamma sermon. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Today, Dhamma sermon is sponsored by Mr. Saman Kumara along with his wife and daughter. So, now we respectfully invite Venerable Sandalankawe Kalyanadassana Thero to deliver Dhamma sermon. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Buddhang saranang gacchami.
Buddhang saranang gacchami.
Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Saranaagamanang sampunnang
Amabante.
පානාතිපාතා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි.
පානාතිපාතා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි.
අදින්නාදානා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි.
අදින්නාදානා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි.
කාමේසු මිච්ඡාචාරා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි.
කාමේසු මිච්ඡාචාරා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි.
මුසාවාදා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි.
මුසාවාදා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි.
සුරාමේරය මජ්ජපමා දට්ඨානා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි.
සුරාමේරය මජ්ජපමා දට්ඨානා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි.
තිසරණේන සද්දින් පංචශීලං ධම්මං සාදුකං සුරක්ඛිතං කତ୍වා අප්පමාදේන සම්පාදේ තබ්බං.
ආමබන්තේ සාදු සාදු සාදු.
සමන්තා චක්කවාලේසු අත්‍රා ගච්ඡන්තු දේවතා සද්දම්මං මුනි රාජස් සුනන්තු සග්ග මොක්ඛදං ධම්මස්සවන කාලෝ අයං බදන්තා. ධම්මස්සවන කාලෝ අයං බදන්තා. ධම්මස්සවන කාලෝ අයං බදන්තා. නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස. නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස. නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස. අත්ථි භික්කවේ ආරම්භ ධාතු නික්කම ධාතු පරක්කම ධාතු තත්ථයෝනිසෝ මනසිකාර බහුලීකාරෝ අයමාහාරෝ අනුප්පන්නස්සවා විරිය සම්බොජ්ජංගස්ස උප්පාදාය uppannasva viriya sambojjangassa bhavanaya paripuriyati. With respect to the most venerable Mahasangha, dear devotees and Dhamma friends, welcome to yet another Dhamma sermon related to the enlightenment factors. As you all know, we are delivering this Dhamma sermon series with the use of the books written by Rerukane Chandavimala Mahanayaka Thero. Nowadays, we are giving you the insight related to the 37 enlightenment factors. Now, for that, we are using the book, The Explanation of the Factors of Enlightenment in Sinhalese language, that is termed as Bodhipakshika Dharma Vistare. Now, this profound book, written by the elite author Rerukane Chandavimala Mahanayaka Thero, has given us the insight related to the 37 enlightenment factors, namely Chattaro Satipattana, Chattaro Sammappadana, Chattaro Iddhipada, Panchindriya, Panchabala, Satta Bojjhanga, and the Ariyo Attangiko Maggo. In English, we know them as 4 establishments of mindfulness, 4 right efforts or 4 right strivings, then the 4 roads to power, 5 spiritual faculties, 5 spiritual powers, 7 factors of enlightenment, and the Noble Eightfold Path. Dear devotees, we are in the discussion of Satta Bojjhanga, also named 7 factors of enlightenment. In last couple of Dhamma sermons, we have discussed with you the insight, the information related to the first 2 enlightenment factors, Sati Sambojjhanga and Dhamma Vicaya Sambojjhanga. Today, we are going to discuss with you in detail what are the causes for the arising of the factor of enlightenment of energy, Virya Sambojjhanga. So, dear devotees, now Virya, the energy, also can be termed as the effort or striving, that is also discussed under the topic of Chattaro Sammappadana, Pancha Indriya, Pancha Bala. Now here, when it comes to the factor of enlightenment, it is further strengthened and it is very conducive to attain the enlightenment or supreme bliss of Nibbana. So, now in order to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana, the enlightenment, now we need to have this Bojjhanga, Virya Sambojjhanga, the factor of enlightenment of energy. Now, how we develop this factor of enlightenment, or what are the causes? Dear devotees, now according to the Lord Buddha's preaching, now it is given in this well-written book, Atti Bhikkave Arambha Dhatu, Nikkama Dhatu, Parakkama Dhatu. Tatta Yoniso Manasikara Bahulikaro, Ayamaharo, Anupannassaba Virya Sambojjhangassa Uppadaya. Unarisen Virya energy will arise when a practitioner or a seeker contemplate, especially carry out the wise attention on Arambha Dhatu, Nikkama Dhatu and Parakkama Dhatu. So in English, those 3 terms, Arambha Dhatu, Nikkama Dhatu and Parakkama Dhatu, are translated as the element of arousal, the element of endeavor, the element of exertion. Now, dear devotees, simply what are these stages? Arambha Dhatu, Nikkama Dhatu and Parakkama Dhatu. If I elaborate, whenever you perform a deed, a task, now there is a start and the middle and as well as the completion. So, when it starts, the beginning, we should have high amount of energy or virya in order to start it, in order to begin. So, there is a statement, there is a saying, I quote, beginning is half done. So, many more individuals nowadays, now they just plan the things, but they can't begin the process. So, in order to begin a particular task or duty or a job, that practitioner may be a lay person or may be a monk, that definitely that individual or practitioner should have high degree or high level of energy. That is what we call the Arambha Dhatu. Once started, in order to carry out continuously until it is completed, so during this midpoint or that in between the beginning and the end, there should be high amount of courage and the virya. Then that is termed as the element of endeavor. And finally, in order to complete that task or the duty, that particular practitioner should have quite gradually or quite relatively higher amount of energy, that is termed as the Nikkama Dhatu. So at the beginning, Arambha Dhatu, while carrying out the task, you should have the Parakkama Dhatu, and in order to complete, as the task to be completed, that particular person should have the Nikkama Dhatu. So in these three stages, if you have any decrement or any decline in your energy or virya, that means you cannot perform that particular task up to the standard level, up to the optimal level that we require it. So dear devotees, now when you come to the spiritual practices as well, we need such kind of energy at the beginning, while carrying out the development or while carrying out the practicing or practices, and also to complete until we attain the enlightenment, we should not reduce our energy. So this is the way Lord Buddha has advised us. So dear devotees, now if I explain what is given in the book, here the element of arousal is the energy one has at the beginning of something. When started something and while doing, it sometimes feels laziness. Then for the arising of that need energy, that is called the element of endeavor. Having done one thing, one is not stopped. They are doing more things further continuously. That energy is called the element of exertion. These are more and more powerful one after one respectively. So dear devotees, we need relatively greater amount of energy once it is started. Arambha Dhatu, that is also we need in higher level, but when it comes to the Nikkama Dhatu, it should be even greater. And in order to complete, we need the Parakkama Dhatu, that also should be even greater than the first two components. So dear devotees, now Yoniso Manasikara, wise attention, that is the compulsory thing. Depending on wise attention, you can develop this Virya Sambojjhanga. Wise attention, the Yoniso Manasikara, association of good friends, Kalyana Mittata, and as well as the virtue or morality, the Sila, those are the three components on which these Satta Bojjhanga are depending on. So those are the three dependent factors. Now Yoniso Manasikara, wise attention, in Sinhala language we know that as the Sihiya. So that should be important. That is very important in each and every circumstances. So dear devotees, now if you can practice this wise attention on these factors, Arambha Dhatu, Nikkama Dhatu and Parakkama Dhatu, whenever there is a decline, when there is a reduction in your energy levels, now you should notice it. If you are not having the wise attention, if you are not focusing on your energy level, then your practice that will be also reduced. Now, the progress will be reduced. Dear devotees, sometimes now whenever we do a job, now for instance, let's take simply driving a vehicle, time to time we are checking the gas or the fuel. So why, when there is no enough amount of fuel or the gas, then we can't drive the vehicle up to the targeting distance. So we can't go that particular destination. So that way, in spiritual development also, we should have this energy. Time to time you have to check it. In fact, regularly you have to check it while maintaining the wise attention on your energy. So according to this Rerukane Mahathero's well-written book, now we know in previous Dhamma sermons as well, we have discussed what are the causes for the arising of factors of enlightenment. So now today also, according to the commentary, the Atua, there are 11 factors or 11 components given now which are conducive to the arising of the factor of enlightenment of energy, Virya Sambojjhanga. If I explain them according to the Rerukane Mahathero's book, the first thing, if I list them out, first thing is thinking of fear of hell. Second, knowing the benefits of energy. Then contemplation of the path of the Buddhas, silent Buddhas, and the enlightened ones. Honoring the food and drinks given by devotees, the fourth one. The fifth one, contemplation on the greatness of inheritance. Sixth one comes as contemplation on the greatness of the teacher. Next one, contemplation on the greatness of birth. Contemplation on the greatness of companions. Abandoning the indolent persons. And 10th one is associating with the persons who have the element of the arousal of energy. And the last one, dear devotees, having the mind which is inclined, sloping and slanting to the factor of enlightenment of energy. Now especially, these factors given here are very much compulsory and they are very conducive to the attainment of enlightenment. But now the factors here, the components given here are focusing on the monks, especially the monks who have vowed for the development of spiritual life by going forth, by having the ordination as a disciple of Lord Buddha. Now they can easily practice these 11 causes for the arising of the factor of enlightenment. So dear devotees, but as lay people, as lay devotees, you can also practice these things. So you can convert them according to the lay life, that up to the level as a lay practitioner, you can practice them as well. Let's discuss one by one. So the first thing is Ekadasa Dhamma Virya Sambojjhangassa Uppadaya Sangvattanti Apaya Bhaya Prathyaweksha. So Ekadasa means 11 Dhammas, 11 components in order to develop the Virya Sambojjhanga. So the first thing is Apaya Bhaya Prathyaweksha. Apaya means the hells. According to our doctrine, we know there are 4 different hell realms. The one thing is the Tirachana Yogini. That means, the animal realm is considered as a hell in our doctrine. So dear devotees, now time to time, we should contemplate on these hell realms, especially the Tirachana Yoni or animal realm, because now we can observe it. Now the other realms, especially Pettivisaya, where we we find the information about the ghost and the Niraya, that the great hells, and also the Asura, that is another type of realm. So we can't see them. But the animal realm, so animal world, we can observe it. Now, how they are nature. Think about your household environment. So that is, there even, you can understand the, how woeful that realm is. Nowadays we can see the dogs now, especially bred dog breeds, now they are they are spending very luxurious life. Now that the quite well-known breeds of dogs, now they are very expensive. The cubs are very expensive, but still, they can't understand the Dhamma. But now simply, I would like you to pay attention on your household environment. There are geckos, there are these insects. Sometimes now we see, not sometimes, most of the times, you also might have seen the simply insects, cockroach. Now, once they are inverted, they can't turn, into the normal position. Why? Because now that is the, unfortunate nature in that particular realm. Recently, I have watched one particular video, a turtle that is inverted. So, that particular turtle is helpless. It can't be, turned the other way around. Even that particular turtle needs to invert him by someone else. Now, no one is there. So, fortunately, one, commuter passes that, turtle, then he inverts, turns that turtle into the normal position. But if that happens somewhere in the forest or somewhere in isolated environment where there are no human beings, no one is there to help you. So that the unfortunate nature in this animal realm is, always the powerful one is, they prey on the, the other ones. Let's take, dear devotees, you might have learned about the food chains in your middle school. So, that in these along these food chains, now we see especially the herbivores are being preyed by these carnivores. Now that the first, second, third trophic levels, now that's how this energy is transferred along the food chain. So in fact, there is a food web. So what we observe as food web or food chain is how one particular animal devour the other one, or one particular animal feed on the other. So dear devotees, now this is the nature. Always the particular animal who has the high strength or higher strength or power, it will feed on the other one or another animal which is having a low amount of energy. If that particular lower being can't escape properly, definitely he will become a prey for the other animal. So now this is the nature in this animal realm. The geckos, now they always aiming for an insect. So whenever they see an insect, time to time during the rainy days, when the when there is the onset of rain season, these especially when the termites, once they get the wings, now they comes out from this terrestrial environment. So once they start the flying, not only the geckos, now all the others, birds, sometimes bats even, now they start feeding on them. So this is the nature. So now that is what we call apaya baya paccavekkanata. Always now you have to contemplate on this hell realms or woeful realms. Now, this is very much conducive whenever you practice wise attention on this apaya bhaya, or whenever you reflect on these apayas or what you call the hells, then you can develop the energy, virya. So now when it comes to that, the woeful realms, especially the niraya, now there are no any intervals. Once that the hell being is tortured by the guardians where we find where they are in the hell, now they start giving the punishments according to the sins or demerits that particular being has collected in his previous birth. So now this is a thing, or this is what we call, this is a realm. We should never be born in those kind of realms. So dear devotees, now it is up to us. It is over to you. It is up to you. Now you are the one who is responsible for whether you are being born, whether you are to be born in a hell realm or as a heavenly being. But dear devotees, unless we get the enlightenment, we can't stop it. Now this sansaric journey, we may be born as a hell being, or maybe a human, as maybe as a deity. So time to time we have to jump from one realm to the other. So except the Suddhavasa Brahma realms, now there are 5 Suddhavasa Brahma realms. Now those who have got the non-returner level, anagami level, those are the ones who become fortunate to be born in such kind of worlds, the Suddhavasa Brahma realms. Other than those 5 realms, we have been born time to time in the other realms. So now we should end this harsh journey of samsara, because a birth means suffering. Once a particular being is born in one particular realm, so then jati, jara, vyadi, marana, soka, parideva, dukkha, domanasa, upayasa, now all these agonies that particular being has to be faced. So dear devotees, so this is the way you should contemplate about the hell. So thinking of fear of hell, apaya by Prathyaweksha, that is a must to carry out in order to develop, in order to arise the virya sambojjhanga. Dear devotees, if we go back to the Rerukane Mahathero's book, now out of those 11 factors, the components which are the causes for the arising of the factor of enlightenment of energy, virya sambojjhanga, the second one is given as knowing the benefits of energy, that anisansa dassavita. Now anisansa means the benefits. You know, when there is energy, now there is no chance for the laziness. Now that is the counter component, that when there are no energy, then the laziness overrides it. So then once you become very lazy, you know, dear devotees, it is very difficult to carry out even a daily chore or daily day-to-day task. Now what about the supramundane level? So for those who do not make effort, forget about a great thing, even cannot gain food and drinks. How could one gain the supramundane state of Dhamma, which are even hundreds and thousands of times superior to the state of the bliss of Sakkvitiraja, the lordship of gods, Sakkadeva, and the lordship of Brahma, Mahabrahma, without making any effort? You know, dear devotees, nowadays we have to struggle for the survival. So that, you know, according to the Darwin's theory as well, we know survival of the fittest. Now that the struggle for the survival, we have to strive hard in order to earn the money, or in order to earn the means for the life. So sometimes now there are difficulties in earning the daily wages for some particular people. We know because of that the economic crisis now which is facing the whole world. So there are time to time there are sanctions and there are some sort of economic collapses. So it is a strenuous effort that we have to carry out in order to find the means for the lives as well. So with compared to that, dear devotees, in order to attain the supramandal levels, now we should have very higher level of energy. So now even to be born in God's realms or as a deity, we should stop doing the demerits. It is easy to be born in hells as hell beings. Why? Because now nothing to be, there is no need of energy, there is no need of striving. For what we need the striving? To stop the demeritorious deeds, to stop arising the unwholesome states, and to suppress the arisen unwholesome states. Now we need energy. But now if a particular person, if that person is willing to be born in hell realm as a hell being, so no need of such kind of energy. He can easily carry out, demeritorious deeds. He can also practice the unwholesome states. There is no any special, he don't have to refrain from killing living beings, don't have to refrain from stealing, don't have to follow the rules, ethics, customs of the society. Now he don't have that dhiri and ottappa, the fear and the shame on the for the wrongdoing. So now easily he can go to the hell realm as a hell being. So he can be born as a hell being easily. But now in order to become a human, in order to be born in God's realm, in heavens, now all these demeritorious deeds should be given up. So this is the way. It is very easy to be born as a hell being, but it is very difficult to be born as a human. So it is even difficult to be born as a deity or as a god. Then when it comes to that, the Brahma realms, it is even difficult. Why? You have to given up all these, sensual indulgence. So you should stop self-mortifications and you should give up mostly the household life. So in order to attain the jhanic levels or higher levels of meditation, samatha, then you have to give up many more things. You have to dedicate your time. You have to dedicate your relationships. You have to dedicate the other earnings and all. So you have to find a secluded environment. Being isolated, you have to start the practice in meditation. Once reach the jhanic level only, you can go to the Brahma realm. So dear devotees, in a way that is a dedication, but the fruit is very fruitful. Now that is worthwhile. The being born as a Brahma, it is worthwhile to be born as a god, but there is no any worth being born as a hell being, because as a hell being, as even as an animal, there is no potential to understand the Four Noble Truth. Once you are being born in as a human, as a god or as a Brahma, then there is a potential to understand the Four Noble Truth, to attain the enlightenment. So that is the importance. So dear devotees, now the human life, what we have got at present, that is very important. Now you have the potential, you have the mind which has the potential. You can boost it. You can boost it up to the supramandal level. So again, as I told you several times, it is up to you. It is your duty and responsibility the attainment of enlightenment, to attain the supreme bliss of happiness, you are the one who is responsible. So let's carry out this spiritual practice and attain the supreme levels, supramundane levels. So if I go back to the next part, next component, contemplation of the paths of the blessed ones, Buddha and the Pacceka Buddha, and the enlightened ones, the Arahants. So dear devotees, now those who stray will never come to the real place. If need to go to the real place, one should go through the real path. All Buddhas, Pacceka Buddhas, and the enlightened ones, the Arahants, attain enlightenment through energy. Without making energetic effort, nobody can attain Nibbana. So dear devotees, now you know, in previous lives of the Lord Buddha as a Bodhisattva, in Jataka tales we can find how the Bodhisattva strived. He had to carry out very strenuous efforts in order to complete the parami. Dear devotees, now there is a story called the Vannupata Jataka. Now there, the Lord Buddha was a merchant. As a Bodhisattva, in his previous life, that Lord Buddha was a merchant. Now he had to cross a desert. Now in this desert, there is a desert pilot who show the way how to cross the desert. So at the end, when they are about to finish their journey, but during the night hours, now they are crossing the desert during the night hours because of that the high heat during the daytimes. Now this desert pilot, by looking at the stars, these constellations, now he shows the way. But unfortunately, on the last night before they come out of the desert, this desert pilot fell asleep. So then, they have removed all the water and the other, necessary requisites in order to consume, in order to pass that or cross that desert, willing that now they will be come out of desert on that particular night, because that was the last day for the desert journey. So finally what happened, once that the desert pilot he felt asleep, then the oxen, they came back to the same place where they stayed last night. So dear devotees, what happened? They had no water, they had no food to consume, so they were exhausted. Now there, the story, the Lord Buddha as a Bodhisattva, he advised that once seen a clump of grass, he advised their colleagues now to dig a well. But dear devotees, once they dig for the well, after digging for 30 meters, now what they found? A rock. So then all the others, now they were exhausted, they gave up. They were thinking now that is the end, that is the last day of their life, because there was no any water. Even a handful of water was not there. But Bodhisattva, with that high level of energy, he didn't give up. He climbed down to the well and he put his ear to the rock, and he could hear the water stream going underneath or beneath that rock. Then what the Bodhisattva did was, he asked for a well-built servant, then asked him, now son, now all our lives are on your hand. By taking the sledgehammer, you have to break this rock. So then that obedient servant what he did, he gave 2-3 strikes to that particular rock. So fortunately, with the wisdom of the Bodhisattva, they could find the water, because now there was water underneath that particular rock. So they could survive by drinking that particular water came out of that well. So then now this is the energy. When all the others giving up, the Bodhisattva was active. Bodhisattva didn't give up. So then these kind of Jataka tales, now those are very important. Now there are 550 Jataka tales now you can find nowadays, even in the internet. You can read them. So then you can have the idea how as a Bodhisattva, now Lord Buddha has practiced this Virya Sambojjhanga. So now in order to develop the Virya Sambojjhanga, so this untiring effort you should develop. Now if you develop some kind of energy, some level of energy during this life, that that habit will follow you. So dear devotees, now this is the way you should develop your Virya Sambojjhanga. So the next one, contemplation on the greatness of inheritance. The fourth one is honoring the food and drinks given by the devotees. Especially this is particular to the monks. As the monks or as the disciples of the Lord Buddha who has renounced from the lay life, we are depending on the lay devotees, foods and drinks, so that the offerings especially. So then we should have some kind of respect. We should honor the offerings given by the lay devotees. Now you can read the Venerable Mahamitta Thero's story that is given in 181, the page 181. So I'm not going to read all these stories to you. So dear devotees, now next one is the contemplation on the greatness of inheritance. As a disciple, as a seeker or follower of Lord Buddha's doctrine, now we are a student or a pupil of the blessed one. So then that is what you have to contemplate. So contemplation on the greatness of inheritance. Now I was not born in a low caste. This is what we call, despite the caste or despite the racism. Now we can contemplate like this way. I'm a disciple. I'm a son of the Lord Buddha who has got the enlightenment. He is the blessed one. He is the awakened one. He is the supremely enlightened one. So like that manner, you can contemplate on the inheritance. Then and also you can contemplate on the greatness of the teacher. Itipiso Bhagava Arahan Samma Sambuddho Vijja Charana Sampanno Sugato Lokavidu Anuttaro Purusadhamma Sarati Satta Deva Manussana Buddho Bhagava. So these are the virtues of the Lord Buddha. So by contemplating on the greatness of the Lord Buddha, the teacher, you can develop the Virya. And dear devotees, contemplation on the greatness of birth. Greatness of the birth means now as a human being. So this is very, very rare opportunity that we have got as a human, because now as I told you earlier, now this is very important. We have the potential that we can attain the enlightenment. So that is not an easy thing. That is not an minute thing that you cannot give up. So you have to always consider that we are very, our life as a human being It is very important. Why we have got this life? In order to attain the Nibbana. So this is the way, if you can contemplate the greatness of birth also, you can develop the Virya Sambojjhanga. So dear devotees, the contemplation on the greatness of the companions in the sense, the noble friends, especially, Sariputta, Moggallana, the great Arahants, and Ananda, Nanda, Rahula, Mahakashyapa. Now these are the noble, disciples of the Lord Buddha. And nowadays also there are many more monks spread throughout the world. Now they are giving advice to the lay devotees, and also while practicing their spiritual life. So now think about this family, think about the Bhikkhu order or order of Sangha. So this is very important, contemplation on the greatness of companions. Now you are a member of that family. You are a member of this fourfold assembly, Bhikkhu, Bhikkhuni, Upasaka, Upasika. So you have to contemplate on that. From that also you can increase your energy and Virya Sambojjhanga. So, and finally we should know what are the indolent persons who are very lazy. We should avoid them. Associating lazy people, now that is just like a communicable disease. Now if your peer group is very lazy, then you can't be energetic. So always avoid them, and also you should associate the people with high amount of energy, or persons who have the element of the arousal of energy, Arambha Dhatu, Nikkama Dhatu and Parakkama Dhatu. Finally, dear devotees, the Tadati Muttata, having the mind which is inclined, sloping and slanting to the factor of enlightenment of energy. If your mind is inclined or leaned towards the Nibbana or the enlightenment, so no one can't stop you. Daily you will increase your energy. So this is the way you should practice the Virya Sambojjhanga, as the person who clings to the small piece of wood which is not sufficient enough to hold on to the weight of a man would drown into the ocean. The person who lives by associating with the lazy man would get drowned in the ocean of samsara. So dear devotees, always associate good friends or wise friends, avoid unwise friends, and also become virtuous, and meanwhile become virtuous. Now you should develop this factor of enlightenment of energy, Virya Sambojjhanga, that is very conducive for your liberation. So having said that, let's wind up today's Dhamma sermon, and let's transfer the merits that we have collected today to the contributors. So in recognition of this noble act, heartfelt contributions have been made by Mr. Saman Kumar of Gampaha, his wife Mrs. Champika, their daughter Harshani, and all others involved. May Mrs. Champika, who is currently unwell, be blessed with a swift and complete recovery. May every member of the family be free from illness and enjoy strength and vitality. We also extend our blessings for the full recovery and lasting health of Mother W.M. Somawati and Mother Jayavati. May Mr. Dinesh Saparamadu and his entire family be blessed with robust health and ever-growing prosperity. Furthermore, may the Senate Group of Companies, Colombo 7, Apigo Company and Aplova Company thrive and prosper endlessly. Moreover, may the abundant merits accumulated through this noble deed be dedicated to all your departed loved ones, including the late A.L. Somapala, A.L. Vasantakumara, K.D.G. Saparamadu, Aryavati Saparamadu. May they all attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana and eternal peace. May peace, wellness, and happiness illuminate your lives always. May the noble triple gem bless you all. Akasatta Chibummatta Devanaga Mahiddika Punyantang Anumoditva Chiran Rakkantu Sasana. Akasatta Chibummatta Devanaga Mahiddika Punyantang Anumoditva Chiran Rakkantu Deshana. Akasatta Chibummatta Devanaga Mahiddika Punyantang Anumoditva Chiran Rakkantu Mamparanti. Abhivadana Silissa Nichang Madda Pachayino Chattaro Dhamma Vaddanti Ayuvanno Sukhambalang Ayurarogya Sampatti Sagga Sampatti Mevacha Ato Nibbana Sampatti Minate Samijjatu.